Chapter 21 Is He Reasonable? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boss, how about I be the auctioneer? A younger brother volunteered. Oh, okay, let's see what you can say. The younger brother happily walked to the side of the car, coughed and shouted, "Dear owners, neighbors, brothers and sisters, tonight we have a unique auction item, that is, this beautiful woman." What's her name? Yi Qingyi. Someone in the crowd reminded. Yes, our auction item is this Miss Yi Qingyi, this year, Mao Gang in the crowd reminded, 25 years old, vice president of a GG company. The people around him immediately made a sound of tisk tsk. Such a woman used to be a goddess, and everyone dared to watch from a distance. Although they are still watching now, they can see that snow-white body. Yi Qingyi looked at Mao Gang in the crowd and gritted his teeth. Brother Gongzi is no longer the brother Gongzi before. This Miss Yi Qingyi is 25 years old this year. She is the vice president of GG company and the daughter-in-law of the president of a Fortune 500 company. Think about it, isn't it great to buy the daughter-in-law of the president of a Fortune 500 company? It's absolutely cheap and good. Of course, this is just Miss Yi Qingyi's identity. The focus is Miss Yi Qingyi herself. Look at her exquisite facial features. There is no trace of artificiality. It is purely natural. Look at this delicate skin. The touch is absolutely top-notch. Of course, the most eye-catching is the internal structure. The three bosses can go home and enjoy it slowly. I won't look at it. Now it can still interpret the saying that the poor will reward you sweet, and the rich will taste you salty. The auction price starts from a bottle of mineral water, and there is no upper limit. I'll bid a bottle. A little brother suddenly shouted excitedly, and his friends around him were shocked. You are crazy, snatching women from the boss. Aren't you afraid that you will have a life to snatch, but no life to play? Ding Feng shouted calmly, 1 box. Boss Ding is stingy, 5 boxes. Sun Yuqing stretched out his palm directly, determined to get it, and Feng Jin said calmly, Boss Sun, these 5 boxes of yours, are they privately owned by you, or by all of you brothers? Sun Yuqing's younger brothers were stunned. Yes, the boss took his own water to shoot women, but he didn't have any to play with. Sun Yuqing cursed in his heart, trying to sow discord. Of course it's private. Sun Yuqing said in a deep voice. At this time, you can't snatch the brothers' water, which is equivalent to snatching their lives. The younger brothers were relieved immediately. Okay, we'll use our own supplies to shoot. Ding Feng continued, 6 boxes of water. Feng Jin's face was a little worse, but he still shouted, 7 boxes. It's a huge sum of money for one person to own 7 boxes of mineral water, especially when supplies are so scarce now. 7.5 boxes. Ding Feng gritted his teeth. At worst, he could save some for himself and get some from his younger brothers. Jian Yufeng went to find supplies after hearing this. 8 boxes. Sun Yuqing said disdainfully, the whole place was noisy. 8 boxes of water could save so many lives, but now they were used to shoot a beautiful woman. Beautiful women are more popular no matter what environment they are in, but this made many women around jealous. 10 boxes. Suddenly a laugh sounded. The 3 bosses were puzzled for a moment, because they were not the ones who shouted, and looked behind them. Isn't this the delivery man? He is not dead. Could it be that the gunman died? That's right, it was Tang Ze who came. He just brushed up a wave of experience at home. He was bored and came down to see how much supplies they had looted, and by the way, see if there were any good goods. As soon as he came down, he heard the sound of auction. When he got closer, he saw that there was a woman tied up on the roof of the car. Tang Ze was surprised. He had never seen her in the community. This woman was very top-notch, comparable to Anbai and the others, and even slightly stronger in aura. Today is really lucky. Rations fell from the sky, and the threefold speed is about to start. Yi Qingyi couldn't help but look up at Tang Ze. Isn't this the delivery boy? No, the delivery boy who kills people like crazy. Tang Ze's appearance made the entire underground garage silent. Isn't he afraid of being besieged by everyone? He dared to appear alone. Feng Jin took the lead in breaking the deadlock. Isn't this the boss of building number 3? Come downstairs when you have time. I was bored and saw you guys were auctioning, so I couldn't help but want to intervene. Is that okay? Tang Ze glanced at the 3 bosses with a very easygoing smile, but the 3 bosses had seen this smile before. He killed people without blinking. It seems that he didn't bring the saber today. Did he bring a gun? Sun Yuqing was not afraid of Tang Ze and said directly, "You want to share the spoils we won as soon as you came. It's not appropriate." Bang! A little smoke came out of the muzzle of the pistol, and a blood hole appeared between Sun Yuqing's eyebrows. Blood flowed out of his eyebrows. He even reached out to wipe it, and then fell straight down in disbelief. Is it appropriate now? Tang Ze smiled and looked at Feng Jin and Ding Feng. The calmness of the 2 men disappeared in an instant, and they looked at Tang Ze and the gun in Tang Ze's hand vigilantly. He was thinking in his heart that he would let his brothers rush up to kill him, but they would definitely be killed first if they were so close to him. Of course he was lucky. This guy actually had a gun in his hand. Did he want to bet that his gun had no bullets? All the younger brothers around were frightened by Tang Ze's ruthless means. Last time, he chopped down Dong Fei and a group of people with his saber. Today, he shot the boss of building number 5, Sun Yi, in the head. This delivery guy is too scary. Not only the younger brothers were frightened, Yi Qingyi's delicate face lost some color, and even felt hot on her cheeks. Could it be blood? Of course it's appropriate. What do you think, Boss Ding? Feng Jin reacted and immediately smiled. Ding Feng immediately agreed. It's appropriate. It couldn't be more appropriate. I'm a reasonable person. The auction is normal. I can't get it. That's my problem. Listening to Tang Ze's words, everyone's mind flashed Tang Ze's wild laughter that day. It's the end of the world. Who is still reasonable? So he started to be reasonable now. Is he reasonable or not? No, he always shoots people in the head. How can this be reasonable? Auctioneer, what are you still standing there for? Tang Ze reminded him, hurry up, and wait to go back to brush up experience. The auctioneer said oh several times. Well, the boss of building number 3 bid 10 boxes of mineral water. Is there anyone who can bid higher? 11 boxes. Feng Jin's face was beating with heartache, which was considered to be a contribution of his family's wealth. However, when he heard Tang Ze's low voice, you really dare to raise the price with me? Ding Feng was secretly happy, hoping that Tang Ze would shoot Feng Jin. Feng Jin was also startled and showed a panic expression. Didn't you say it was a normal auction? Chapter 22. This beauty was picked up outside. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feng Jin's frightened look fell into the eyes of the younger brother, and he felt strange that his boss was actually frightened like a bird. Yeah, I'm just talking. Why are you so excited? Tang Ze shrugged. Feng Jin's face was already darker, and Ding Feng secretly thought it was a pity that this murderous takeaway brother did not play by the rules. However, Tang Ze continued, but I doubt now that you don't have 11 boxes of mineral water at all. How is it possible? Then put it out and let's see. Feng Jin was about to say, what about you, but thinking that he had occupied Dong Fei's supplies, he didn't say this. You guys, go to my house and move the water over. The younger brother immediately ran to building 2, where a group of people were waiting, and Tang Ze looked up and down at Yi Qingyi. Yi Qingyi naturally felt the gaze from Tang Ze and found that Tang Ze's gaze was different from that of other men. Other men are lustful, but his gaze is hard to describe, as if he saw something delicious. Soon, boxes of mineral water were brought over by the younger brothers. Tang Ze smiled and said, you have less. I can divide the supplies we snatched this time into 4 boxes, which makes exactly 11 boxes. Tang Ze patted his forehead and said, are you bullying me for my poor math? You only have 6 boxes here. How is that possible? I have 7 boxes at home. Feng Jin immediately shouted and counted them immediately, but after counting again and again, it was still 6, then he shouted to the younger brother, "Did you miss a box? Go find it quickly." That the younger brothers ran back in a panic, while Tang Ze waited with a smile and blinked at Yi Qingyi, which confused Yi Qingyi for a while. What does he mean? Is he saving me? At this moment, Yi Qingyi felt that there was still light in the world, and righteous people like her brother-in-law had not disappeared. Soon the younger brothers ran back again, one of them holding a box in his hand, but there was also a 30-year-old woman in pajamas rushing around. "Honey, what's wrong? Why are you so flustered?" The woman looked at Feng Jin and asked in confusion, "Why did he move all the water out?" When she saw Yi Qingyi on the roof of the car, she immediately understood and became angry. "Boss, the water is here, but I don't know what to say." "What?" That the younger brother turned the box with a strange look on his face, and saw that the box was torn open, and only 2 bottles of mineral water were left inside. Feng Jin was dumbfounded, and immediately said in a low voice, "Who moved my water?" That the woman rolled her eyes. "Didn't you think I stink, so I took a bath?" "You woman!" Feng Jin froze in place, and the people around him sighed. There was actually water for a bath. Tang Ze let out a long "oh" at this time. "You don't have 11 boxes, you only have 10 boxes and 2 bottles. I have some, I can borrow a few more bottles, wait, right away." Feng Jin was about to ask the younger brother to borrow water. With a bang, the shell fell to the ground. Feng Jin seemed to be frozen, his eyes wide open, and then he fell down, blood oozing from his forehead. Tang Ze blew air into the muzzle of the gun and said calmly, "I hate it most when people lie to me." Ding Feng, who was standing by, was happy and scared, but more scared, and cold sweat broke out. In a few minutes, he killed Feng Jin and Sun Yuqing, and he was the boss. If not, would he kill himself too? With this idea, Ding Feng began to worry extremely. Husband. Seeing her man being killed, the woman ran over and found that her man was dead. "What are you still standing there for? He killed your boss, why don't you kill him?" Another bang, the woman also fell on Feng Jin, and she didn't seem to realize who was in charge here. Tang Ze sighed. "What are you doing? Fighting and killing, can't you live in peace?" That this made everyone very angry. Who was fighting and killing? Who started it first? How dare you? But I only dared to think about it in my heart. No one dared to be the first to stand out. Whoever did so would die. Yi Qingyi felt that Tang Ze was weird. He acted like a cold-blooded killer, but he was a little humorous. What a strange man, but I still had to thank him. "My name is Shixiang. Do you still want to follow?" Tang Ze looked at Ding Feng. Ding Feng shook his head quickly. If he still followed, he would risk his life. "Does anyone else want to follow? I am very fair and just." Tang Ze looked around and shouted. There was no sound at all. He looked at Tang Ze with fear. Tang Ze shrugged his shoulders boredly. "Okay, then, don't announce it yet." Okay, congratulations to the boss of building number 3 for getting the beautiful auction item." After saying that, he immediately ran over and handed the rope to Tang Ze, as well as Yi Qingyi's pile of tattered clothes, which also contained her mobile phone. Tang Ze slapped his forehead. "Oh, right, I haven't given you water yet, you can't eat a free meal. I killed 2 bosses, so their supplies should be considered mine. Is this understanding okay?" Tang Ze looked at everyone. Ding Feng laughed and said, "No problem, of course no problem. In that case, let's take it from the 2 bosses. I'm in a good mood today, so if there's more, I'll buy everyone some water." An idea popped up in everyone's mind. I've never seen such a shameless person, running over to get something for nothing, taking away the most beautiful woman without paying anything. No, he paid 3 bullets. Suddenly remembering something, Tang Ze looked back at the group of people without a boss and reminded them, "If I were you, quickly choose a boss." Ding Feng's mouth trembled. Is he guarding against himself? Looking at the people in building number 2 and building number 5 gathered together, Ding Feng's forehead formed a Chuan character. After finally killing 2 people, 2 new ones are going to emerge to compete with him. Damn takeaway boy, I will definitely make you pay the price. Arriving at the elevator, Yi Qingyi said weakly, "Can I put on my clothes?" Tang Ze turned around and smiled, "It looks good, why do you want to wear it?" "Ah. It's all tattered, wear it, it's really troublesome." "Can you untie it?" Tang Ze sighed, "Am I here to serve you?" Although wearing clothes, Tang Ze thought it was pretty good, torn and beautiful. Yi Qingyi said gratefully, "Thank you for saving me." Tang Ze just said oh, the elevator door opened, Tang Ze walked in, Yi Qingyi pursed her red lips and walked in. Soon they came into the house, and Tang Ze suddenly clapped his hands, "Meow meow, get up, there's a newcomer." And Bai and Sun Ting opened their eyes tiredly, slowly sat up and looked at Yi Qingyi, and the original tiredness disappeared in an instant, and they became amazed. "This? Where did you find this?" Bai asked blankly. This community actually has a top-notch product of the same level as himself. Chapter 23 Don't Treat Me as a Hero. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Ze poured a glass of water and leaned against the wall, jokingly saying, "I picked it up while walking outside. Such luck. I can't stop it when it comes." Sun Ting and Bai stood up and walked to Yi Qingyi to look at them. Yi Qingyi was a little scared and leaned back, feeling that they were too strange, but Yi Qingyi thanked him again, "Thank you for saving me." Tang Ze replied helplessly, "You said it before." Yi Qingyi looked a little embarrassed, paused for a moment and then said shamelessly, "You are so powerful, do you have a way to get out of here?" "I'm not Superman, but I can't fly out." Tang Ze spread his hands. "This woman really has a lot to ask for," Tang Ze said directly, "Take her to take a bath first." "Can you take a bath here?" Yi Qingyi couldn't believe it. "No wonder they smelled so good." Sun Ting smiled sweetly and said, "Of course, if you don't take a bath, wouldn't it be stinky and the master will dislike it?" After saying that, he pushed Yi Qingyi towards the bathroom, and Yi Qingyi hurriedly said, "I can do it myself. We will help you and tell you our rules." Before Yi Qingyi could say anything, he was pushed in by the two women. Tang Ze ignored him. Sun Ting was a senior instructor and had powerful training methods. In the bathroom, Bai released hot water, and the mist gradually enveloped her. 3 delicate bodies that made people bleed were looming in the mist, making people bleed. "Sister, you have a great figure." Sun Ting picked up the shower gel and applied it on Yi Qingyi's body, and Bai smiled shyly and said, "Yes, we can relax again." Yi Qingyi was confused and said quickly, "I can do it myself." Sun Ting clicked her tongue, "We will be a team from now on. We must take care of each other in order to survive in this apocalypse." Yes, we are in the same group." Bai chuckled secretly as he spoke. Yi Qingyi became more and more confused. "What do you mean we are in the same group?" "We are all the master's kittens." Sun Ting knocked on Yi Qingyi's forehead. She was so beautiful, but her reaction was slower than Xiao Bai's. Yi Qingyi immediately took a step back after hearing this, and his eyes changed a bit. "I'm not a little kitten, and I won't be one." Bai and Sun Ting were stunned for a moment, as if they were seeing themselves for the first time. "Sister, please don't get excited. This is just a formality. Our main task is to make the master happy." Sun Ting explained. However, Yi Qingyi's tone suddenly changed. "I am no one's slave. I don't have to make anyone happy, and I won't join you. Get out of the way. I want to go out." After saying that, he went to get the tattered skirt, and Bai and Sun Ting secretly thought that something bad had happened, and that this was a time to commit suicide. Outside, Tang Ze suddenly saw the bathroom door open and wondered if the shower was ready so quickly. However, he saw an angry Yi Qingyi walking out, looking at him with extremely disgusted eyes. "What's the situation?" After taking a step, Tang Ze stopped Yi Qingyi. "Get out of the way, I want to get out." "You are the same as them, I misjudged you." Tang Ze. "Beauty, what do you mean you misjudged me? What do you think of me? A hero?" Tang Ze was amused. This woman had a very comprehensive mind. Yi Qingyi really saw it this way, but that was not the case at all now. She didn't want to say more and just walked past Tang Ze. Tang Ze couldn't help but let out an ouch, and if he hadn't been seriously short of food rations, he would have collapsed. He grabbed Yiqingyi's wet hair. "Ah! Let me go, you despicable villain." Tang Ze grabbed Yiqingyi's long hair, pulled it down and said in a deep voice, "I spent 10 boxes of mineral water to take a picture of you, and you told me that you were leaving? I'm not your product, and you can't even hope to succeed." Enduring the pain, Yiqingyi angrily scolded Tang Ze. Tang Ze's face became extremely cold, and he took out his pistol and moved it towards Yiqingyi's forehead. "Do you really think that I can't bear to part with you, the best ration?" Looking at Tang Ze's cold gaze, Yiqingyi knew that he had angered a devil. It would be better if he died, lest he be tainted, and Zihui would only know that he was missing. No. At the critical moment, Anbai walked out of the bathroom and shouted subconsciously. Tang Ze's eyes moved to Anbai, as if to say, "Do you also want to die for her?" "I can make it happen for you." Anbai was so frightened that he paralyzed to the ground. Sun Ting was still calm and immediately explained, "Xiao Bai didn't mean that. Xiao Bai felt that this sister still had a chance. We didn't resist it at first." Tang Ze narrowed his eyes slightly. Sun Ting continued, "It would be too easy to beat her to death now. She will not be grateful at all." After hearing this, Tang Ze felt that it made sense. It seemed a bit cheap to kill her with one shot, but even if she is not shot to death, she must know that I, Tang Ze, am not a man of faith. The right fist landed hard on Yiqingyi's soft belly. Although it only used a little strength, it was not something a woman could bear. Yiqingyi widened her beautiful eyes and covered her lower abdomen. She couldn't help but kneel on the ground and then fell down. The severe pain made her roll up and sweat broke out. "Okay, I'll give you a few days. If you still make a fuss, not only will she die, but you will also be punished." Sun Ting wished she could slap herself. Why did she get involved in it? This woman is going to kill everyone, so why are you pretending? Take it in and wash it off. After Tang Ze said that, he lit a cigarette. Others said that he had promised himself to save his life, which was good, but he was being shameless by scolding himself. Sun Ting and the frightened Anbai dragged Yiqingyi into the bathroom. Sun Ting, who was furious, took the shower head and showered. Yiqingyi, who was lying on the ground, was so pale with pain that she looked like a piece of paper and had no strength to speak. "We spoke to you with good intentions, but you made us all be punished." When they thought of that feeling, Sun Ting and Anbai's faces turned pale. They didn't want to experience that kind of horrible punishment in their lives. The more Sun Ting thought about it, the more scared she became. She raised her jade feet and stepped on Yiqingyi's delicate body. Yiqingyi could only make a muffled sound and curled up in discomfort. "Xiao Bai, why are you still standing there? You saved her, but she hurt both of us." Anbai seemed to be struggling, and his lips trembled as he said, "I dare not." "Xiao Bai, do you know why your ex-boyfriend can control you? You are a coward." "I am not a coward, I just—" Anbai shook his head. Sun Ting held Anbai's chin and said in a low voice, "Xiao Bai, we are on the same boat." "I know." "Then kick her." Anbai looked down at the painful Yiqingyi, her face full of struggle, but she still slowly raised her legs and then stepped down with her eyes closed. "Ah!" Yiqingyi wailed in pain. After all, if a woman stepped down with her eyes closed, it would be a heavy blow, much heavier than what Sun Ting did. Chapter 24 Worthy of being the chief instructor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Ze, who was sitting on the sofa, silently heard Yiqingyi's screams, without any ripples on his face. He was originally very happy tonight, thinking that he had picked up a treasure, but in the end, does she think this is a charity? How could she be so naive? In the bathroom, Sun Ting had finally vented her anger. Anbai squatted on the ground blankly, not believing that she would hurt a stranger. There was tension and panic in her eyes, but there was also a little excitement after venting. Sun Ting looked at Anbai's expression inside. "We have even moved the corpse. What else is there to be afraid of? There is no need to pity such a woman. Do you really think that everyone will spoil her?" Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. after several consecutive WeChat sounds, Sun Ting looked at the mobile phone next to her, which seemed to be the woman's mobile phone. Yi Qingyi watched Sun Ting pick up her mobile phone and shouted in pain, "Give it back to me." Sun Ting looked at Yi Qingyi with disdain, and then grabbed Yi Qingyi's hand, but Yi Qingyi immediately struggled and refused to open the fingerprint lock for Sun Ting. "Xiao Bai, Xiao Bai. On Bai." Sun Ting called several times in a row before An Bai came back to his senses. "Don't be in a daze, hold her down." "Oh, oh." An Bai looked at Yi Qingyi with an apologetic look, and then held her down, and Sun Ting successfully opened the phone. Sun Ting opened WeChat, and the corners of her mouth rose slightly. "What an intimate note, future husband Mr. Zihui. Give it back to me, give me back my phone." Even though Yi Qingyi was pressed by An Bai, even though her whole body was in pain, she still stretched out her hand to snatch the phone. However, Sun Ting's jade feet stepped directly on the back of Yi Qingyi's hand. Ah! 5 fingers connected to the heart. Yi Qingyi had never suffered such a crime as today since she was a child, and she had always been held in the palm of her hand and cared for. Sun Ting laughed and said, "Your future husband Mr. Zihui seems to be very anxious, asking you how you are. Why don't you reply to his message?" "How do you say I should reply?" Yi Qingyi held back her tears even when she was beaten, but when she heard such a threat, she couldn't help but shed tears that had been suppressed for a long time, because Yi Qingyi didn't dare to tell her fiancé that this place was in chaos. Her brother-in-law and sister were dead, and she was also arrested. She was clean in her fiancé's heart, so she had to keep it that way, even prepared to die. That pure fiancé was still in his heart, not defiled by others. Seeing Yi Qingyi's reaction, Sun Ting's beautiful eyes lit up, as if she had caught a handle. Sitting on the sofa, Tang Ze watched TV. Now only network TV can be watched, and the local satellite TV is gone. As the bathroom door opened, Tang Ze turned his head and looked. Yi Qingyi was indeed extraordinary after washing, but her eyes were a little empty. "Master, I'll take her to dress up first, it will be quick." Tang Ze supported his chin and hummed carelessly. Although Yi Qingyi was trembling now, he still didn't like her. 20 minutes later, Yi Qingyi was finally let out. The slightly dry and messy hair became extremely smooth, exuding a fragrance. The light makeup made the face more beautiful. The pure white dress showed her curvy figure to the fullest. The black belt tied around her willow waist showed her thin waist. "Why don't you call someone?" Sun Ting patted Yi Qingyi's hips and reminded her. Yi Qingyi pinched her fingers into her palms and lowered her head to bite her teeth. Seeing that Yi Qingyi didn't speak, Sun Ting's anger came up, and Yi Qingyi whispered a few times in her ear. Yi Qingyi's delicate body trembled and slowly uttered, "Master." Tang Ze gave a positive look. "Your hand made me amazed. Come here." Tang Ze ordered. Without question, Yi Qingyi stood up and came to Tang Ze, but lowered her head and didn't look at Tang Ze. In the past, a delivery man and a vice president of GG company could not have any intersection at all, but now it is not only about intersection. "Come sit here." Tang Ze patted his legs and said lightly. Yi Qingyi bit her red lips tightly, and her beautiful red lips turned white. Chapter 25 Sweet Engaged Couple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Ze had no mercy in his heart, and put his hands on the smooth and slender jade legs. "Look at me." Seeing that Yi Qingyi did not respond, Tang Ze said lightly, "I don't want to repeat what I said." The red eyes slowly looked at Tang Ze, and Tang Ze found that Yi Qingyi's eyes were still full of resentment and hatred. Suddenly, a familiar ringtone sounded. A voice called. Sun Ting took Yi Qingyi's phone and took a look, and smiled. "It's your fiancé calling." Just this sentence made Yi Qingyi panic, and hurriedly said, "Don't answer it." "How can that be? Your fiancé is worried about your safety. I will help you answer it, you can talk yourself." Sun Ting said as she helped answer the phone, and then handed it to Yi Qingyi. Yi Qingyi didn't have time to hang up, and the image of her fiancé had already appeared on the phone. Jiang Zihui's worried voice immediately rang on the phone. "Yi, why didn't you reply to my message? I thought something happened to you and I was so worried. Why are you crying? What happened?" Listening to her fiancé's worried voice, Yi Qingyi felt uneasy. "No, I'm just scared." Yi Qingyi suppressed her tears, smiled sincerely. and told her fiancé not to worry. Jiang Zihui was heartbroken. As a man, he couldn't protect his fiancé. "I'm sorry, I hate myself for not being able to take you over and make you scared all day." Yi Qingyi didn't show any flaws on her face, and even said gently, "Silly, don't blame yourself, we will be fine." "Well, don't cry." "I won't cry." Suddenly, Jiang Zihui found that his fiancée tonight was particularly beautiful. Why did you suddenly put on makeup?" "I didn't reply to your message, I was afraid that you would be angry, so I put on some makeup to let you see my beautiful me." Tang Ze's mouth curled up a little. This woman, when she deceived her man, her IQ went straight through the sky. "You are the most beautiful woman in the world." Sun Ting curled her lips after hearing this, and whispered to An Bai beside her, "It's really a scumbag quote." "Well, I've heard it too." Jiang Zihui's words made Yi Qingyi ashamed. She actually betrayed the man she loved deeply. "Zihui, you should rest early." "I need to rest too." Yi Qingyi was afraid that she would make strange noises that would make her fiancé suspicious, so she didn't want to say anything more. Jiang Zihui even kissed the camera, and several people shouted that he was shameless. Tang Ze smiled lightly and said, "What a loving couple, it's enviable. I like your body very much, but I don't like your eyes." "I don't need you to like it." Yi Qingyi said in a deep voice. Tang Ze suddenly laughed, "You seem to be more afraid of them than me." "Why is that?" Yi Qingyi didn't speak, and her pretty face turned pale with pain. Tang Ze reached out and pinched Yi Qingyi's chin, and said lightly, "They will threaten you and tell your fiancé about your situation, but I won't. I will only find your fiancé and kill his whole family. You have seen my methods. You are not a human." Yi Qingyi grabbed Tang Ze's clothes and shouted. She was scared. "When did I say I'm a human? I'm a devil among devils, and I'm a more lustful one." Yi Qingyi couldn't imagine what would happen if her fiancé knew about it. He might even kill Zihui's family. Thinking of the murderous look, Yi Qingyi really didn't doubt the truth. "In the future, you will eat their leftovers. If you behave well, you will have a chance to be like them. Now you know what to do." The next day, Yi Qingyi woke up in a daze. The first thing she felt was whether she was dead. When she saw the furnishings around her, she realized that she was not dead, but still in hell. Thinking of the humiliation last night, Yi Qingyi wanted to cry but found that she couldn't. Sister and brother-in-law died tragically at home, and she also ended up like this. Seeing that the door was not far away, Yi Qingyi had the idea of running away. Just when she moved her body slightly, she felt a sharp pain in her lower abdomen. If she had known this, she should have given it to her fiancé earlier for the first time. Enduring the pain, Yi Qingyi moved slowly, and the clanging sound of the iron chain woke up the two women sleeping next to her. Sun Ting yawned and said lightly, "It seems that you haven't learned your lesson yet." Yi Qingyi was able to become the vice president, although she had the help of her fiancé, but her brain was also very smart. Falling into such a situation, the only way is to swallow her anger and look for another opportunity, and she will never bow her head. "No, I'm just a little hungry." Yi Qingyi hurriedly explained, and Bai chuckled and said, "It's not time to eat yet, and the master hasn't gotten up yet." Yi Qingyi found that An Bai and Sun Ting were different. Sun Ting was Tang Ze's most loyal follower, but An Bai felt different, as if he was oppressed like himself. Maybe a breakthrough point can be found here. Chapter 26. Have a good rest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No matter what, you can only follow him now, otherwise you will not only die, but those photos will also be published, and even the lives of your fiancé and his family will be threatened. After getting up, Tang Ze brushed his teeth. The progress in the past 2 days has been much faster, reaching 16%, at this rate, 3% per day. It will take almost a month to unlock the Doomsday Spree 2.0, if we get 3 more rations, the time can be doubled. It's a pity that so far, these 3 are already top-notch rations. They are used to eating fat abalone, so how can they look at crooked melons and cracked dates? When he came to the balcony, Tang Ze felt a cold wind coming. For the south in September, the weather was a bit strange. Fortunately, there was air conditioning in the house. When he turned on his phone, the weather temperature was no longer displayed, but Tang Ze felt that it was only about 10 degrees outside, and the weather was changing too quickly. Arriving at the living room, Tang Ze looked at Yi Qingyi, but Yi Qingyi couldn't help but move back, fearful of Tang Ze. Tang Ze ignored them, touched Anbai and Sun Ting's heads, and prepared to enjoy breakfast. Breakfast is basically the most nutritious meal of the day, but considering what Yi Qingyi did, she naturally ate the leftovers from the two women. As she said, when the mushroom and chicken soup appeared, everyone in Yi Qingyi was dumbfounded. How could it be possible that they actually had such food? That was actually sweet and sour pork ribs, and even a bowl of black-bone chicken rice noodles. Sun Ting and Anbai were hungry for a long time. They lay on the ground and ate quickly. The smell of chicken soup filled the living room. Yi Qingyi's red lips secreted mucus crazily. Yu Jing couldn't help but swallow, but she could only stare. Watch, Tang Ze didn't eat that much. He made 2 meat buns and porridge to see what news there was in the community group. After more than 10 minutes, the two women were full and left the rest to Yi Qingyi. The sweet and sour pork ribs only have bones left, the black chicken rice noodles only have half a bowl of soup with all bones left, and the same goes for mushroom chicken soup. Eat, don't keep looking at it. Sun Ting said lightly. Yi Qingyi looked at the leftover soup. He had never eaten like this in his life, but he couldn't resist the strong aroma of the chicken soup. How could he have the strength to escape if he wasn't full? With this self-comfort, Yi Qingyi immediately started to drink black-bone chicken soup, and immediately felt warm in his stomach. It was actually more delicious than the one made at a Michelin restaurant. Mix her with some rice. Tang Ze said calmly, you have eaten all the meat, but she can be full by drinking some soup and chewing bones. If she is not full, how can she have the strength to withstand the brutal collision? Anbai said oh, and quickly filled up a large spoonful of white rice. Yi Qingyi raised his head and looked at the ball of white rice. It felt like he hadn't seen it for several years. In this situation of lack of water, who could there is still water for cooking, which means eating uncooked rice to fill your stomach. Eat quickly. Anbai reminded, don't make Tang Ze angry then and you won't have to eat anything. Yi Qingyi looked at Anbai gratefully. As the white rice was put into the chicken soup, it turned into braised chicken rice. The sound of Yi Qingyi eating could be heard in the living room. Even if it was the leftover bones, Yi Qingyi would chew them up and swallow them. Belch. Yi Qingyi couldn't help but burped, and even she felt ashamed now, but it had been a long, long time since I felt so full. If I had another bowl, Yi Qingyi felt that she could eat it too. Suddenly, a familiar bell rang. Your fiancé really cares about you. Sun Ting picked up the phone and smiled. Yi Qingyi had no intention of snatching it away, because she knew that doing so would only anger them and hurt herself. My dad's friend said that there will be heavy cooling and heavy snowfall in the next few days, so you should keep warm. Cooling down. Yi Qingyi didn't feel anything at all. Well, in the south it's about -20 degrees during the day and -40 degrees at night. It's even colder in the north. Don't touch the heavy snow, just like this rain. Tang Ze frowned after hearing this. He thought the rain would stop, but he didn't expect that the temperature would drop sharply. It seemed that he would still be trapped here. No, I have to find an opportunity to go out. Going out to find food rations is the most important thing. Well, I understand. I will keep warm. Don't worry. Why are you crying again? Jiang Zihue was so anxious when he saw his fiancée crying. It's nothing, just a little sentimental. Well, if you hadn't gone to your sister's house for dinner that night, you would have been by my side. Jiang Zihue sighed. Yi Qingyi also felt the same way. If he left, he wouldn't meet this devil. Sister-in-law, what are you doing? Suddenly a youthful voice sounded, which made Tang Ze pause, and Yi Qingyi finally breathed a sigh of relief. The girl on the phone is about 17 or 18 years old. Her beautiful cheeks show her youthfulness and vitality, with the innocence and aura of youth. She is wearing a woolen sweater, revealing her slightly sexy collarbone, and wearing a new Hermes summer model on her neck. Decorations. Nana, I'm resting. Jiang Nana was stunned. Sister-in-law, you should have a good rest, you will be fine. Okay, I will have a good rest, don't worry. Yi Qingyi's face gradually turned rosy, wondering how she could be like this, even bringing out her dead brother-in-law. Jiang Nana expressed her confusion, sister-in-law, you must pay attention to your safety. My brother misses you all the time and secretly looks at your photos. What are you talking about, you little brat? Jiang Zihue was a little embarrassed, but Yi Qingyi was even more ashamed, feeling that she was unfaithful to love and no longer worthy of her fiancé. Chapter 27 Surrender. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Have a good rest. I'll go and deal with her. You're talking nonsense. Well, go ahead. Listening to the playful sounds coming from the phone, Yi Qingyi was very envious. She should have been there, turn off the video call and face Tang Ze. So she's your sister-in-law. Sun Ting took the phone and opened the album, and found the photo to show Tang Ze. Tang Ze nodded after seeing it, it's a good choice. What are you going to do? Yi Qingyi immediately said in a low voice, hearing this questioning tone. Tang Ze was a little unhappy. In the afternoon. Eat something. In the living room, Anbai secretly took out the leftovers from the refrigerator and came to Yi Qingyi. Looking at Anbai, Yi Qingyi gradually let down her guard and said thank you weakly. Sister, don't provoke the master again. Yi Qingyi ate the food in big mouthfuls. She wanted to die, but she didn't dare. Anbai, why are you so obedient? Yi Qingyi asked, why don't you resist? Anbai was stunned for a moment, and whispered, we still have food and drink now, all from the master. If it weren't for the master, we would have become corpses. There are 4 or 5 more female corpses these days. Yi Qingyi certainly didn't want to. Every time she saw a female corpse on the grass, it was basically brutally abused. What happened to this world to become so terrifying? If it was because of fear at the beginning, then maybe it's repaying a favor now. Repay a favor? Yi Qingyi was surprised. Yes, what kind of character are those people in the community? Did any of the girls who were caught have a good end? And we are very safe under the protection of the master. What we pay and what we get are not worth mentioning at all. Yi Qingyi suddenly found that what Anbai said made sense. Sun Ting walked out of the bedroom at this time and saw the 2 people in the living room. Yi Qingyi hurriedly put down the plate in her hand, fearing that Sun Ting would tell on her. And Sun Ting said lightly, eat, so as not to starve to death. Anbai nodded and whispered, Sister Ting is not bad, it's mainly because you are too stubborn. This is not bad, it was all her idea, so I am like this. Xiao Bai, don't talk nonsense, I'm a bad woman. Sun Ting curled her red lips. In this world, being a good person has no good end. It's better to be a bad person, Anbai pursed his lips, knowing that Sun Ting was talking angrily. Thank you, I'm full. Yi Qingyi wiped the corners of her mouth. This feeling of fullness made people want to sleep. Sun Ting reminded lightly, if you want to die, you can beg, the master will give you this opportunity, but if you want to live, then put down your vice president, or the identity of the eldest son's fiancé, and don't implicate me in Xiao Bai, that everyone wants to live, no one wants to die. The living room was silent, and Bai poured a glass of warm water for Yi Qingyi. Yi Qingyi took the warm water but did not drink it. Instead, she whispered, can you find me a nice dress? Sun Ting and Anbai looked at each other. This time it seemed a little different. It seemed that life was still the most important thing. Tang Ze had a good nap. He stood up and stood by the French window, looking at the green belt in the center of the community, which was almost covered by corpses. Perhaps the temperature had dropped recently, and the stench of corpses had decreased. Tang Ze didn't want to stay in this environment any longer. He would be suffocated sooner or later. Opening the door and walking out of the bedroom, Tang Ze found that Yi Qingyi was not noisy and seemed to be much quieter, so he took out food as a reward. When Yi Qingyi saw a whole fried chicken leg appear in front of her, she suddenly had an urge to cry. This kind of junk food that she had never even looked at before actually made her give up her dignity to get it, eat it all without thinking. Isn't it just to fill your stomach in the end times? Any other requests? Tang Ze asked Yi Qingyi calmly. This question was tricky, but it didn't bother Yi Qingyi, who was highly educated. She would not make any requests in front of Tang Ze, and could only obey unconditionally, even if she was asked to jump from here. I have no requests. I just want to bring endless happiness to my master. Sun Ting and Anbai looked at each other again. This woman is very good at making men happy. However, Tang Ze did not believe Yi Qingyi, and even did not trust Sun Ting and Anbai in his heart. The law of the end of the world, except for oneself, no one else can be trusted. Chapter 28 Double Happiness Post to Moments. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's pretty good. You too can eat these. Tang Ze gave the remaining chicken legs and wings to Sun Ting and Anbai, mainly to let Yi Qingyi know, don't think that by lowering your head and acting coquettish, you are better than them. Without making any substantial contribution, he will always eat the food left by the two of them. Listening to the sound of chewing fried chicken legs, Yi Qingyi also longed for it, but now she could only live like this. You can still talk to your fiancé on the phone, but only under my supervision. Tang Ze gently stroked Yi Qingyi's hair and said with a smile. Of course Yi Qingyi understood the meaning of this supervision, but at least he could still see his fiancé. Thank you. Of course, you can also secretly ask your fiancé for help and ask your fiancé to save you. No, I promise not. Yi Qingyi shook his head wildly, but he still had this idea in his heart. Tang Ze lowered his head slightly, raised his beautiful face with his index finger, and touched the soft red lips with his thumb. It doesn't matter, I will chop off your fiancé's head and make his skull into a bowl, and let you sit in that bowl every day when you eat there. Your thoughts will be more harmonious. Listening to Tang Ze say such terrifying words, pictures even appeared in Yi Qingyi's mind. Not to mention Yi Qingyi, Sun Ting and Anbai were also frightened. Suddenly Tang Ze burst out laughing. Oh, I was just joking. I think I scared you, so I won't tease you anymore. Sun Ting and Anbai looked at Tang Ze with resentment, but Yi Qingyi felt that Tang Ze was not joking, and immediately said, I don't want to contact you, I am all yours. Maybe this is the only way to save his fiancé's family. I was just joking. I didn't mean to break up your loving couple and make me seem like a bad guy. Is there anything worse than this? Yi Qingyi only dared to think about it in his heart, but did not continue to talk about this issue. After these few days of contact, he summarized several important pieces of information. Regarding what Tang Ze said, there is no need to ask more questions, do not pursue them, and do not question them. Of course, sometimes you can, but it is definitely a flattering and coquettish question. Ting Ting, give her the phone back. Sun Ting handed over Yi Qingyi's hand. Yi Qingyi was a little confused now. Isn't this something that threatens her? At this time, Sun Ting said sheepishly, I pretended to be you this morning, I'm sorry. Pretend to be me? I just want to know where your fiancé lives, don't think too much about it. In an instant, Yi Qingyi's face turned pale. Tang Ze glared, TSK, don't keep scaring people. As he said this, Tang Ze hugged Yi Qingyi to his body. If I have the chance to go to Yunhai City, I will let you meet. Just as he was about to say no, Yi Qingyi immediately changed his mind and said obediently, but I am the owner's cat, wouldn't it be bad? What's wrong? Don't you want to see me? That Yi Qingyi didn't dare to say no, I want to see you. If your fiancé knew about our affairs, would he be angry and beat you? Listening to Tang Ze's teasing tone, Yi Qingyi said softly, my fiancé won't know. You are getting more and more into the mood. Just have a good rest today. Yi Qingyi sat next to him obediently and was rewarded with a pack of Lay's cucumber-flavored potato chips worth 6 yuan. Tang Ze hugged Anbai to his side and whispered, I plan to leave this community in a few days. The three women immediately looked up at Tang Ze. Leave here? Will you take us with you? Of course I have to take you with me, otherwise I don't know who will go. With such words, the three women breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Without the great god Tang Ze, they would be robbed at any time, and then abused and traded, etc. But it's getting colder and colder now, and you can't touch rain or snow. If the wind blows into your clothes, you will die. Sun Ting expressed her concern that she might die if she went out. Although there are only 3 here, there are always better than going out on an adventure, but Sun Ting didn't know Tang Ze's purpose. 3 was too few and it was a drop in the bucket. Moreover, there is almost no one to play with in this community. I have prepared some things these days to withstand the rain and snow. Of course, I will not force you. You can choose to stay. I am reasonable. After speaking, Tang Ze showed a gentle smile, but this smile fell in the eyes of the 3 women, not gentle at all, like a bloodthirsty beast. Without any hesitation, the 3 women nodded at the same time. Taking out his mobile phone, Tang Ze pointed the camera at himself. Xiao Bai, be cute, let's take a selfie. Bai obediently closed her beautiful eyes and stretched out her pink tongue, which was 10,000 times cuter. Tang Ze was smiling on the phone. Bai's beautiful face had a hint of red. She was a little cute, but also a little shy, and her jade-like shoulders were nestled against Tang Ze. Tang Ze sent it to his circle of friends with a backhand and added a sentence. It's really well behaved. Among Tang Ze's WeChat contacts, most of them are leaders who worked part-time in the past. They were often called around by them. It was for no other reason than to show off and then visit them one by one. Sure enough, this circle of friends exploded. Tang Ze, you can do it. You have such a beautiful woman accompanying you. I have some supplies, do you want them? Damn it, Tang Ze, you're still wearing it. Send the beauty over quickly. Xiao Tang, as your former leader, I can tell you that you cannot afford this wealth. Tang Ze, where do you live? I'm here to find you now. I feel so hot all over, this slut is the best. All kinds of envious and jealous comments were posted under the photo, all in a condescending manner, which made Tang Ze smile even more. Ting Ting, come here too, let's take a photo together. Tang Ze waved his hand. Sun Ting sat obediently beside him, and the 2 women kissed Tang Ze on the cheek at the same time. The scene was as erotic as it could be. After all, most women nowadays have not taken care of themselves for a long time, so how could they be as beautiful as them? And this time Tang Ze deliberately moved the camera down, revealing half of the proud snow-capped mountains, and the black lace was looming, which made people spurt blood. Added the caption. Double happiness. Sure enough, once this circle of friends was posted, it became even more amazing. Xiao Tang, listen to my advice. If you can't afford it, give it to me. I have plenty of supplies. Where the hell did you find that woman, Tang Ze? Brother Tang, I have supplies here. Do you want to share them? Mr. Tang, we are living worse than dogs, but you are so cool. Show me the way. Looking at these angry replies, Tang Ze seemed particularly calm and stood up slowly. Yi Qingyi, who was standing next to him, thought that he would ask her to take a selfie with him and was about to stand up, but Tang Ze walked away. This made Yi Qingyi stunned in place, feeling particularly clown. With her looks, was she not qualified to join the selfie and become a capital for showing off? Chapter 29 Tang Ze's Little Secret from the Past. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Qingyi suddenly felt frustrated. Tang Ze took a photo of the supplies and posted it on his moments. I can't even finish eating them. With beautiful women and supplies, any man knows that this is definitely a life of God. All the people who were originally called Xiao Tang and Tang Ze changed their names. All of them are Mr. Tang. Tang Ze said that they were all colleagues before and should take care of each other. He promised them that he would send some supplies when he was free. A video call was made directly to Tang Ze, manager Xiao of Huan Hotel. Tang Ze answered the video call, and a middle-aged man with a Mediterranean face appeared on the screen with a lewd smile. Xiao Tang, do you remember me? Manager Xiao, of course I remember. How could Tang Ze forget that he was a doorman at Huan Hotel at that time, and Manager Xiao was the lobby manager of the hotel? Because he was honest, the most tiring and dirty work was always his. I still remember Manager Xiao's scolding. You are just a country bumpkin, you will be a worker all your life. I respect you by letting you be a doorman, otherwise you can go sweep the toilet. The scolding look of that year disappeared, with a flattering smile. Xiao Tang, I knew you were promising, but it was a pity that you left too soon. I was going to make you a captain. Manager Xiao, I am not worthy of being a captain, you think too highly of me. Xiao Tang, you are wrong, you are the most promising young man I have ever seen. A burst of rainbow farts wanted to flatter Tang Ze. Tang Ze sat on the sofa and pulled Yi Qingyi on the ground into his arms. When Manager Xiao saw the charming Yi Qingyi, his smile froze. This is the third one. These days, there are 3 top-notch women living in the house. What kind of strength does it take? Manager Xiao knows it very well. At least it is the boss level. Yi Qingyi finally felt comfortable, or more accurately, a little balanced, but when she turned around, she thought, why should she care about such things? She must be crazy. Manager Xiao, you must have something to ask me. Tang Ze smiled while holding the plump snow peak. Yi Qingyi bit her red lips and moaned, which made Manager Xiao burst into tears. It's just that the food at home is almost gone. Manager Xiao was a little speechless. Why did he still have some memories of Tang Ze back then? There was really nothing he could do. Tang Ze understood immediately. Manager Xiao, look at what you said. You took care of me so much in the past, I should repay you. Give me an address first, and I will send it to you when the weather is better. Oh, that's great, I knew I didn't make a mistake. Manager Xiao was overjoyed, but there was jealousy in his eyes, and he even started to have bad ideas in his heart. Tang Ze was not satisfied with getting an address. Former leaders sent congratulatory messages one after another, and addresses appeared one after another. When Tang Ze saw those addresses, the smile on his face became even thicker. Ding-dong sound, Tang Ze's WeChat rang, and the 3 women looked at Tang Ze's phone at the same time. It looked like a boyfriend's WeChat rang, and the girlfriend would subconsciously look over. This is not the 3 girls' fault. Tang Ze's WeChat has never been called. Even just now, they all called over via video to confirm whether Tang Ze really has the supplies, not a photoshopped picture. Tang Ze also thought it was some embarrassed former leader, but he paused when he saw the WeChat name. This is not a former leader, but an ex-girlfriend. No, it can't be considered an ex-girlfriend at all, because she didn't agree at all. When the 3 girls saw Tang Ze's expression, they knew that there must be a story. Such a strong man has something in his mind. The gossip heart burned in their hearts. Even Yi Qingyi was extremely curious. It can only be said that women understand too much. Tang Ze's eyes swept towards the 3 women, who immediately lowered their heads and looked away carelessly. If you want to come and see, just like a thief. Tang Ze laughed, and Bai rushed over first, and Sun Ting couldn't stop him. What if Tang Ze was just talking, and you took it seriously? Be careful not to have food to eat at night. When she saw that Tang Ze really didn't blame her, Sun Ting walked away to gossip with peace of mind. Yi Qingyi told herself in her heart, what's the point of gossiping, what's it got to do with you, Yi Qingyi? When she saw the exaggerated expressions of Sun Ting and Bai, Yi Qingyi scolded herself and immediately went up to gossip. I saw a person with a cartoon avatar sent a message. Are you okay? But with these 4 simple words, the 3 women could immediately conclude that the other party was a woman, and her relationship with Tang Ze was definitely not ordinary, otherwise she would not use this opening method. So the 3 women came to a conclusion in their hearts. 9 out of 10 times it was an ex-girlfriend. Ask one by one, it hurts my ears. Tang Ze was speechless. Are you women so gossipy? Yi Qingyi, start with you, then Xiao Bai, and then Tingting. When she heard Tang Ze put herself in the first place, Yi Qingyi was a little happy in her heart, but soon she felt something was wrong. Why should she be happy? Just because she was ranked first, what's there to be happy about? Yi Qingyi, don't be brainwashed by him, you are just bored and want to listen to the story. Sun Ting immediately suggested, should we drink some red wine? That way we can listen to the story. You are the only one who has too many things to do. Go get it. Tang Ze didn't care. He was bored anyway. I'm afraid no one else knew about this except him. Sun Ting opened a bottle of 800 yuan red wine and poured it all, even pouring a glass for Yi Qingyi. Ask. Tang Ze took a sip and leaned back on the sofa. Yi Qingyi coughed lightly. Who is she? She should be considered as someone I pursued before. Tang Ze said truthfully. It was an unhappy past, but now he can ignore it and even share it with them, and Bai immediately asked, did you catch her? Or did you catch her and break up? Of course I didn't catch her. Sun Ting asked, why didn't you catch her? Tang Ze was speechless. Are you stupid? If I chased one of you before, would you care about me? There was nothing wrong with what he said. The three girls did not deny this fact. In the past, they would not care about Tang Ze. What does she do? Does she look down on you? Yi Qingyi asked next. Tang Ze shook the red wine in the glass and said softly, 3 years ago, we worked in a hotel. I was a doorman and she was the front desk. Isn't she beautiful? Is she as beautiful as us? Take a look at the photos. Anbai couldn't wait to see the photos, and Yi Qingyi showed great interest. Tang Ze sighed, where are the photos? There must be some in the circle of friends. The three girls insisted on seeing it. Fuck, you guys. Master, you just said you weren't angry. Anbai said pitifully. Tang Ze. Okay, who asked me to be reasonable? He opened the other party's circle of friends, but it was visible for 3 days. The three women were disappointed, but to be able to work as a receptionist at Huan Hotel, her appearance must be not bad. Chapter 30 Ex-Girlfriend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sun Ting continued to ask, then did she have a boyfriend who rejected you, or was it for other reasons? Tang Ze drank the red wine in one gulp and said calmly, I don't know, but she does look pretty good, but she's a little worse than you. The three women felt comfortable after saying this. Although she is worse than you, in the eyes of others, she is still a beauty. All the workers in the hotel like her. She is a sought-after woman, and of course I am among them. The three girls couldn't help but listen in rapt attention, and began to imagine a picture in their minds. A poor boy courted a gorgeous woman, and then, the master was so miserable, the woman's heart immediately surged with pity, and she wished she could immediately comfort the injured master and make him happy. At that time, the salary of being a doorman was 800 a month. Yi Qingyi exclaimed, it's only 800. Later I found out that it was just my probation period. Yi Qingyi felt that Tang Ze was too miserable, no wonder he would take such revenge. I remember it was a sunny noon, and I spent a lot of money to buy her a meal in the hotel's highest quality canteen. As soon as these words came out, the three women let out a snort, unable to hold it back. Tang Ze twitched the corner of his mouth. I'm telling you such a sad thing, is it so funny? Anbai felt aggrieved. I wasn't laughing, it was you who were laughing, Tang Ze said helplessly. I thought she would accept it, but the reality is cruel, I was rejected. The three women could already guess the result, and they would have refused if it were them, but Tang Ze didn't finish his words and continued. She overturned the dinner plate and those expensive dishes fell to the ground. Everyone around looked at this, hearing this, and Bai stopped acting coquettishly and felt a little unbelievable. Even if you reject someone, you don't have to do this. Then he said something that was deeply remembered. After he said it, he looked at Sun Ting and said, your silly words are really nothing. Sun Ting secretly cursed herself. What did she do with scolding people at that time? The main reason was that there were too many vicious words on the public screen during the dance. She couldn't help but feel irritated. When she saw Tang Ze, she took out her anger on him. She said I was a bitch and I should raise my legs to pee and take a photo. Who am I qualified to treat her to dinner? The living room became quiet all of a sudden. Yi Qingyi didn't expect that there was such a woman. It was so disgusting. Just refuse her, why would you say hurtful words? Even though Tang Ze was not a human being, he was a devil. Then did you beat her up? Anbai asked with expectation, wanting to hear Tang Ze beat up that bad woman. Tang Ze smiled and shook his head. I picked up the food that fell on the floor. It was bought for 199 yuan. It can't be wasted, even though there was laughter all around. The three women were shocked. Was Tang Ze so cowardly and timid before? This is completely different from the god of death he saw. So, I failed before I even started. Tang Ze shrugged and lit a cigarette. Now that he thinks about it, he was very naive and weak at that time. Then don't reply to her or starve her to death. And Baidu said angrily. Yi Qingyi suddenly said, that would be too advantageous for her. Now Tang Ze and the other two women looked at Yi Qingyi. You must have changed too quickly. The smart Yi Qingyi certainly knew about the issue of stance, so she only had a chance by following Tang Ze to make him happy, but Yi Qingyi seemed to have forgotten that her opportunity had to be paid for by other people's pain. In a way, Yi Qingyi's mind began to slowly change. Then what do you think is a more appropriate reply for me? Tang Ze found it quite interesting to see their reactions. Yi Qingyi volunteered and said, Master, why don't you leave it to me to reply? Sun Ting and Bai looked at you, you are so brave. Tang Ze paused for a moment, but he was curious about how Yi Qingyi would handle it, so he directly put the phone in Yi Qingyi's hand. Yi Qingyi thought for a while and replied. Fine. Shanhu community is considered high-end in Huan City, with an average price of 20,000 per square meter. It is also relatively close to the city center, and there is a subway downstairs, which is very convenient. The people living here are naturally elites, and there is no situation like Karasawa's, but it will happen sooner or later. On the sofa, Chao Yu was wearing light pajamas and watching the TV with dull eyes. It didn't matter what the TV was playing. He was thinking about one thing in his mind. The country dog in the past actually lived a lively life at this time, and there were even people around him. Accompanied by a girl who is prettier than him, half of the living room is filled with supplies. Looking at the supplies he was about to buy, Chao Yu frowned deeply. It would be great if he could deceive those supplies. Haven't I replied to you yet? A man in his 50s walked out of the toilet. He looked a lot older. With Chao Yu's financial strength, it is natural that he cannot afford to buy a house here. This suite belongs to a man, specially used to raise his lover. He is also the deputy general manager of Huan Hotel. However, this man is a bit ridiculously fat, at least 300 pounds, and Chao Yu only weighs 90 pounds, and sometimes he can't breathe. Not yet. Chao Yu said helplessly. Bai Jian sat next to her, his fat hand resting on her shoulder. Once this kind of man gains power, he will show off, especially to those who have abandoned him before, so he will definitely reply to you, and maybe he also wants to get you. Bai Jian whispered sinisterly, thinking about how to grab the supplies. Without the supplies, the two beauties would naturally leave him, and they would all be his. A ding-dong sound. Look, I'm not taking the bait anymore. Chao Yu took the phone and breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that no one would pay attention to him. Be direct and make him happy. Bai Jian reminded him. Chao Yu took a deep breath and replied, I miss you. Yi Qingyi on the other side was so angry that she laughed when she saw such a reply. This woman is so shameless. Tang Ze smiled without saying anything and pinched Sun Ting's beautiful face. She was just a receptionist a few years ago, and she couldn't compare with the anchor on her body. Yi Qingyi continued to reply. Now you know you miss me. What were you doing before?